Hey, good morning. Today I am going to explain basics of NoSQL databases. And today agenda is like history of NoSQL databases. What are the NoSQL databases? Why we use NoSQL, and what are the needs of NoSQL? Also we would cover NoSQL versus RDBMS, and NoSQL benefits over RDBMS. Like scalability, performance, high availability, global availability, flexible data modeling and many more. Also we would learn the types of NoSQL and list of available NoSQL databases in market. Let me show the chart in which I try to show you how NoSQL databases are much popular with time. In 1980, nobody knows about NoSQL. At that time businesses were using traditional databases like MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, Sybase and many other RDBMS. But nowadays in 2010, every business is going to move NoSQL. As you know, social sites generates multiple terabytes data in a day. So it is really very difficult to manage in traditional RDBMS. Traditional RDBMS are also costly as well. Maintenance is also too high. So many factors are there for moving to NoSQL. So first we need to understand that, what is NoSQL databases? So as we all know, almost organizations are turning to NoSQL databases to store large volumes of complex data, sparking an increased need for data scientists and analysts to understand non-relational data stores. In the world of database technology, there are two main types of databases, SQL and NoSQL, or relational databases and non-relational databases. The difference speaks to how they're built, the type of information they store, and how they store it. Relational databases are structured, like phone books, that store phone numbers and addresses. Non-relational databases are document-oriented and distributed, like file folders, that hold everything from a person's address and phone number to their Facebook likes and online shopping preferences. NoSQL databases can store non-relational data on a super large scale and can solve problems, but regular databases can't handle indexing the entire internet, predicting subscriber behavior, or targeting ads on a platform as large as Facebook, Twitter, etc. NoSQL database is a scalable, distributed NoSQL database designed to provide highly reliable, flexible, and available data management across a configurable set of storage nodes. The term NoSQL was originally used by Carlos Rossi in 1998. And NoSQL stands for non-SQL. It also known as non-relational databases. It means no tables. Flexible database used for vast amount of data, big data. Reasons to use a NoSQL database: first, storing large volumes of data that often have little to no structure. And second is making the most of cloud computing and storage. And many more. As you see, there are 4 types of NoSQL databases available: 1. Document-based store. 2. Key-value store NoSQL. 3. Column-based store. And 4. Graph-based store. Let me explain these types one by one. First one is document-based store NoSQL. These databases store data in a hierarchical format. This is good for uses such as content, book chapters, sections, quotes, etc. For example, Apache CouchDB, OrangeDB, Couchbase, Cosmos DB, MongoDB, etc. Like this shown employee document whose name is Alex. And next is key-value store NoSQL. A key-value database is designed for storing, retrieving, and managing big blocks of data. It's the most basic NoSQL model. This type of database is useful when the data is simply one cohesive value, such as binary large objects, blobs, or character large objects, CLOBs, in RDBMS. The gain is the speed you get from the simple architecture of key-value stores. And third one is graph-based store. Graph database uses graph structures for semantic queries with nodes, edges and properties to represent and store data. As such, they are not as general purpose as the other types of databases. Graph database functionality can often be built on top of the other data stores, though native graph database stores exist. These databases are useful for identifying relationships, such as friend of a friend. But these relationships aren't restricted to similar items, so for example, you can quickly query which web pages your customers are browsing and which products they're buying to help create upsell cross-sell recommendations. As you see, these databases that uses edges and nodes to represent and store data. These nodes are organized by some relationships with one another, which is represented by edges between the nodes. Both the nodes and the relationships have some defined properties. You can see in diagram as well. And last one is column-oriented NoSQL. These were created to store and process very large amounts of data distributed over many machines. There are still keys, but they point to multiple columns. The columns are arranged by column family. Examples of column-oriented databases are Cassandra and Base. Now this is the time to learn advantages of NoSQL over RDBMS. As you can see, there are many advantages are listed. I am going to explain these one by one. Nature of data and volatility of the data. Next is support semi-structured, unstructured data and volatile data. And next is data format flexibility, it means schema-less. And read-write throughput is very high. Also, horizontal scalability can be achieved easily. Support big data in volumes of terabytes and petabytes. And be always available, no downtime. Also support large numbers of concurrent users, tens of thousands, perhaps millions. Performance, deliver highly responsive experiences to a globally distributed base of users. If we are taking NoSQL, then we cannot forget to talk scalability. So NoSQL databases support horizontal scaling methodology that makes it easy to add or reduce capacity quickly without tinkering with commodity hardware. This eliminates the tremendous cost and complexity of manual sharding that is necessary when attempting to scale RDBMS. And performance. Some databases are designed to operate best, or only, with specialized storage and processing hardware. With a NoSQL database, you can increase performance by simply adding cheaper servers, called commodity servers. This helps organizations to continue to deliver reliably fast user experiences with a predictable return on investment for adding resources again, without the overhead associated with manual sharding. NoSQL databases are high availability. NoSQL databases are generally designed to ensure high availability and avoid the complexity that comes with a typical RDBMS architecture, which relies on primary and secondary nodes. Some distributed NoSQL databases use a masterless architecture that automatically distributes data equally among multiple resources so that the application remains available for both read and write operations, even when one node fails. And next is global availability. By automatically replicating data across multiple servers, data centers or cloud resources, distributed NoSQL databases can minimize latency and ensure a consistent application experience wherever users are located. An added benefit is a significantly reduced database management burden of manual RDBMS configuration, freeing operations teams to focus on other business priorities. And now we have to learn vice versa. It means advantages of RDBMS over NoSQL. First is transactions with ACID properties. And ACID properties means atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. Second is execution of complex queries involving join and group by clauses. Note, used RDBMS if data is structured and unchanging. For today, we are good in progress. I hope you enjoyed and thanks a lot for hearing me. Happy learning.